as you can hear back there, they're having a good time. So I'm not sure when they'll show up.
That's okay. Go ahead and have an opening statement, and we'll open it up to questions.
We just would like to start by saying we're extremely grateful. Like we said all along, we're excited to be here. This experience was really cool, not only from the standpoint that we have a couple guys that grew up right around here. It's always fun for the guys on our team to get to go play at home, but the experience that the Frisco Bowl put on Mr. Hunt and his family, not only the things that they do for this bowl game, for this area, for this sport, but just what they've done for football overall. To be a part of something that him and his family helped put together. This area right here is unbelievable. And again, we're just very grateful to be invited to come here.
Great, congratulations, Coach. Now we'll open it up to questions. Alex has the microphone. If you want to just raise your hand, we'll go right up front here, right in front of you. Just tell us to whom you're addressing the question.
Taylen, that second half, you really just got things going with your legs, and you combined with Ashton, it was tough to stop. What changed for you in the second half, and how confident were you towards the end?
The message was at halftime, just keep doing what we're doing, but don't stress, just be comfortable. We've been in this position before, and we already know, we trust the game plan, we trust the coaches, so we're beating ourselves up. We had holdings, we had false starts, and we were just beating ourselves up. So we were just pressing too much. So we just telling ourselves just stay calm and just do what we do.
Andy, it's kind of the same question. What can you say about the second half and what this team did, and also just for guys like Zeke going out with a win like this and seeing them celebrate on the field? What's this mean to you?
That's the most important thing, is just for our players. This is all about our players. When you get into this profession, there's a lot of hours that go into it. There's a lot of sacrifice, and if you ain't doing it for the young men that are involved, then you're gonna burn out because you're not doing it for the right reasons. And again, it's so gratifying to be able to see these guys celebrate. It's hard to leave the locker room right now, being around the guys, just because they deserve this. But like we just told them, there's so many great young men in there. How cool this is, how big of an achievement this is. There's such great young men in there that they're going to do even better things in their life, for the ones that are moving on. And going back to the game, there were things that we knew that we could do better at halftime. We started to do them better late, in the first half there. We won the 2-minute drill, which is always big momentum for us, okay? So then, we're able to flip around in the locker room and build off that momentum. What are we going to do offensively? We identified some formations. Our offensive staff identified some formation where we can keep leverage on the fronts we were getting, then obviously be able to put Taylen in some positions to take advantage of the space on the perimeter, whether it was with his legs or with his arm, and getting the ball out there. And, we defensively, again, we were resilient. We came into the game with not a ton of depth at certain positions due to injury, and it was awesome to see how certain guys stepped up, and Zeke's a big part of that. He leads that defense. He's right in the middle of it. I don't know, I didn't get to see the final stat sheet, but I think they ran the ball a lot tonight, and he was in the middle of all those fits, and he had a big-time play with that interception, early on in the game.
Over here to the right, please.
Alex Blink, FI360. Zeke, you guys needed, at the end of the game, a couple of stops. They had a couple of possessions opportunities, and you guys bared down. What can you say about the defense stepping up at the end of the game?
Man, we talk about it all year, man. Just being resilient, staying in the fight on the defensive side, man. No matter what the situations go on, good or bad, we always got to stay neutral. And for us to just keep playing our game on the defensive side, because we know when we do that, we can be unstoppable. So.
Steve Helwick, SB Nation. Hi, Taylen. Early in the third quarter, it seemed like Ashton started to get a few breakaway runs. How do you think that really got your offense going, and you also helped you in the mobility department?
We have a big emphasis on just getting the drive started, just making positive plays, even though it might be 3 or 4 yards. Ashton and George are really, really talented, and when they're doing good, it just makes it a lot a lot easier, and you know, it just gives confidence to O-line, gives confidence to me, and so, you know, just getting the drive started, and like I said previously, just being comfortable and just going through my reads and just going through, you know, if it's a zone read, just being comfortable.
Taylen, how do you describe the ride the last 3 months, or, you know, whatever it's been, and just where the season started to where you are now, sitting up here holding the trophy for offensive MVP?
I would say blessed, you know, just blessed to have an amazing team. I love them. I love these guys, especially Zeke, you know. All the leaders just took me in open arms, you know, and just Coach Av and just the coaching staff, just the communication just week by week on what they want, just challenging me each week on what they feel I can get better at. And so that's what I love about this coaching staff. They're just always challenging me on things I can get better at.
J-Test KTVB, Taylen, kind of along those notes, your parents were saying that they recently moved to Frisco. Like, how much did you feel at home tonight? And as crazy as these last 3 months have been, how, like, in an odd way, fitting was it for it to kind of end, like, in front of your family and friends back home?
It's crazy. When we got the news, I was like, wow, you know. When we had practice a couple of days ago, and I was just telling some of the teammates, "Oh, you see that building right there?" I was like, "My house is literally right there," and it's just crazy, you know. We're literally like in our backyard. It's just me, Ashton, and Zion, just the people that live in Frisco, and just it's just a blessing just to play in front of friends and family for another time.
Up here in the front.
Michael Dixon with the AP. Coach, you obviously were here as Boise built what it became, and now you're here trying to restore that. How much does getting to that 10-win threshold matter for you and the program moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, the standards at Boise State are extremely high, and that's why we're here. Being a part of the early years in building that, when you really think about it, Boise State, hasn't been a Division I program per se as long as maybe some of the traditional powers, but to be able to establish a foundation and the threshold of college football, and to be a part of something like that as a player and as a assistant coach, a coordinator, and to be in the role we're in now, we're just blessed. I can't say anything more, but to be blessed, to be, to live in Boise, number one, to be a part of that university, and then to be around the people that we get to be around every single day. And what comes with that is the responsibility and the honor to continue to recruit the right young men to come into this program and always keep that at the forefront. The stars and all that stuff don't matter to us. A certain skill set that fits a certain role that we're looking for, but more importantly, the foundation of a young man is what's most important, because that's how this place is built, and it's how it will continue to be built off hard work, dedication, and commitment to something greater than yourself.
J-Test KTVB, kind of a two-parter. Andy, for you, from the first time you met Zeke Noah to right now. Like,
that was a long time ago.
I know it was. What goes through your mind? But before you answer that, Zeke, how much are you going to miss this?
I just try to soak it all in the last couple of days, weeks. I'm gonna miss it. I'm gonna miss it a lot. Just the program in general, not only the program, the people. People are more important, man. The connections, the bonds we create throughout the program. Not only between the coaches, but the whole staff as well. The people that we're around, we always try to make an impact on them, and that's what's fun about it. So.
You know what? It's I could go on and on about this young man right here, from the standpoint of how much he's grown as a person. He always has had an unbelievable heart, and he's so talented too. Like, Zeke can do a lot of things. Zeke will lead the talent show when it comes to singing, playing music, everything. Like, and he's just fun to be around. But I'll just say this: who he's grown to even become as a young man, where he sits today and where he's at and where he's going to continue to go, is a lot different than when he was a freshman here. And I always love to remind Coach Danielson of how much Zeke's grown because of who he is right now, not only as a person but a football player. It's like having another coach out there, him and DJ. And we got great young talent in our program. You know, they need a lot of nurturing and love like Zeke needed. And now he just gives it back, and it's cool to see. You know, we ran up on Leighton the other day, huh?
Yeah.
Oh man, I just started laughing. I was like, Leighton, remember when that was your little brother that you had to take care of? Now he's the big brother in the room taking care of all these little brothers as they're in the linebacker huddle. But no, I remember, I mean, again, it's been a long time. We went down there and, you know, went to Helix and found Zeke down there in San Diego and instantly knew, like, he's one of the guys we were just talking about a second ago.
Andy, you know, there was a lot going around afterwards on social media and stuff, and there were some tensions during the game, and afterwards you and Phil were kind of in an argument. What was kind of said there, and where were your frustrations?
You would ask that question. And I'm just going to say this. I'm not going to answer your question. I'm going to just say this. I have the utmost respect for Coach Bennett and who he is as a coach and a man. But there's certain things going on in the game that I'm more concerned about our players. And at the end of the game, when the whole team comes together, I can care less about anything else but our players and making sure that we leave that field with class and integrity.
Right.
Taylen, just you know, how exciting is this to have finished the way you did, and kind of look at what the future of this team and this offense could be moving forward here?
It's a really good feeling, but most importantly, it really wasn't about the future. It was about just ending it off right for the seniors, you know, because they put their blood, sweat, and tears into this program, and just the things they do they're like, we look at them like role models, you know. When they watch film, we're like, oh, we gotta watch film. When they do this, when they do extra, we gotta do extra. Especially in the summer, we're running decks. All the seniors are talking about, like, run an extra one. And we ran the extra one, then they were like, run it again. So they're just role models. So when it's our time, especially in the future, like you said, it's going to be my responsibility to uphold that standard that Coach Ives said that we have. And, you know, it's just, yeah.
Andy, you mentioned the defense being without some guys. I mean, Alex Tubner had like 13 tackles tonight.
Yeah.
You had some guys. I mean, you weren't just missing guys, you were missing JL and like some key guys. What does it say about your defense, you know, late in the game when you needed to get some stops, and for guys like, you know, Jalen Clark and Tubner and these guys that took advantage of the opportunity?
Just so proud of them, man. That's what, over the course of the year, you know, it's a long season. And to see these guys grow and step up, and you know what BJ did? Some of these guys played their best football of the season last night, tonight. And shoot, I think at halftime I was looking at some numbers, and I think Tubes was already like at 8 or 9 tackles, you know, and had some key pass breakups too, you know, covering some wide receivers that have been really productive. So it was awesome to see JC be able to come up and make a big time play, and then, you know, get the return yards on that interception. There's numerous guys that stepped up, you know, through the course of the last 3 weeks. Scott went from playing D tackle to playing defensive end because we were light and shoot. Scotty, he's been super impressive, you know, playing as a defensive end as well. You know, Shea Oladipo jumped in because Ty and JL had some ankle things that we just couldn't get them ready to go. And so seeing Tubes and Shea jump in there and play and to see what they were capable of doing is obviously very, very exciting, you know, as we move forward in the future. And again, Rod stepped up. You know, Rod was limited in practice, really, like up till Tuesday, you know, Tuesday or Wednesday. And so for Rod to be mature enough to handle himself and get the mental reps he needed, and to be able to then jump in there, and the training staff do a really good job, and then Rod ends up having a really, really good game. So when we were talking about this was a big deal to our players, and they were excited about it. You know, we don't talk about that stuff through the course of it because we don't want it to be a disadvantage to us, but the things that our players did to prepare for this game, it was pretty cool to see. And to handle You know, some of these guys haven't been to a bowl game in a while. It's different when you leave and go on the road for 4 or 5 days, and the maturity it takes to handle the process and then still have fun in the windows you get. You know, again, we're just really proud of the guys and the staff.
Taylen, excuse me, you've proven that you can climb a pretty steep learning curve over the last few months. Are you excited for a day off maybe? And what are you going to do with a day off?
That's a good question. Yeah, I'm excited for a day off. But you know, it's just gonna reflect on this year and just the crazy year that this has been, and just the ups and the downs, and you know, just take everything in, and you know, just learn from everything. That's my biggest thing. That was my main thing this year. Just learn and grow. So you know, just got the big win, and just take it to the off season, and you know, I still have a lot to grow. And Coach Cutter reminds me all the time. So.
He'll take like 3 days off and then be back on the
Yeah.
field. All these guys around here. He won't be able to sit around long. That's who he is. He'll be sending us videos of him throwing with Ashton and some of these other guys around here soon. Huh?
Yeah,
You can already see how that's going.
Yeah. I'll be surprised if Trail and Ashton and Eric don't text me after 3 days. Talking about let's go to Louisville and throw. I'll be surprised if they didn't do that. So it's all, especially all of us just being in the same areas. It's a blessing.